Welcome to the StockMiner.com studios. I'm your StockMiner Brian Johnson. And we had another, guess what, move up in the markets. Go figure, nothing broken here from the bull side still. Seeing in the charts up and over the blue line, coming back to retest it at the end of the day. So what did we get? We got that push back up and over the 11,050 mark, which was the more aggressive place to get long, and or above 11,100. We got that push too. Either one allowed you to maybe pull a little bit of money out of the markets today. Once again, I said this could be just a slow grind up. And so far, it hasn't disappointed. It has been kind of a slow grind up. And so we have to take quick profits. I'm not one for holding overnight. Talked about that all week long. Won't beat a dead horse, but guys, man, be careful holding overnight and take profits when you get it. Options expiration week tends to be a little bit more volatile. So when you get in the money, protect it. Protect it, protect it, and manage your trades well. Manage it well. Up over 11,100 was the place to get long today. Even if you took that trade and then got out at the end of the day, I mean, you were only down about 10 points, but you should have made some money on that. Shouldn't have let that come back and turn into a loser. Had a little bit of a move down at the end of the day, but guess what? What have we seen before? Same thing. Little pull back at the end of a day, and then the bulls go, hey, what a great opportunity to buy at a less price. So let's watch that as well. And what we saw last time was a move down at the end of the day, and the following day continued the move down. It gapped down to start the day, it moved down, and then it hit one of the moving averages and pow, shot right back up again. So be careful of that. Be careful. Everybody wants to get bearish here. Everybody wants to get bearish here. Okay? And the bulls love that. It plays right into their hands. If they can push this market down in one quick spurt for, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, they can get everybody going, hey, let's get bearish. And then all of a sudden, now we'll take it right back up again. So be cautious. Let it break some of these levels down here. Let it get back below about 10,900 before you start looking at any kind of short positions. Basically, maybe even 10,875 or whatever this green line is here. Whatever. Anyway, it's not worth it. So what if you're in 75 points early? You know, if the trade doesn't work out, you're going to get your butt kicked. Don't wait for confirmation. Wait for it to break some of these lower levels down here. Then look to take your short positions. Here on a daily, you can see the Dow 2 poking up, a little bit of a wick, coming right back down. Still a good move. Remember yesterday we had that big doji, looked like a topping doji? Yeah, whatever. Another psych out here. So yesterday's doji was not a topping candle of any sort whatsoever. It just turned out to be another candle as we push our way up and towards this 11,200 area. That is the next more major overhead area in the Dow to be watching for. From a 60-minute NDX version here, you can see that we moved up. We broke, what was it? 2040 to 2060 was my levels to be watching. Now we broke 2060 today. I'm in a position now, guys, where I'm just not going to try to play this, okay? Whether it's the NASDAQ or the indices themselves. I am still playing individual stocks long, but I am not looking to get interested in playing the indices long. So I'm going to go ahead and just stand aside when it comes to going long the indices. And I will continue to give you guys good opportunities, good here. You can go long here, you can go long here, whatever. If you guys want to take it, great. But for myself, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm just looking to sit out the indices to the long side. I'll continue to play stocks long like Apple and whatnot for a while, but not the indices for me. I'm going to let them do what they're going to do. I'll wait for a pullback. Then I'll look for a better opportunity to get in. So anyway, the call was between 2040 and 2060 overhead resistance. We broke the 2060 mark, but look where we closed, back within the 2057 mark on the NASDAQ. I'm going to tell you something here. We breached the top. See, we broke that 2060 mark. NASDAQ tends to be a leading indicator. I've talked about that in the past, and if that's the case, we could see a lot of the other indices do the same thing now. Okay, so for all of you Elliotticians out there, let me just bring to your attention that this is preparing to blow all to heck the whole Elliott wave count. All right, so you want to be careful up here with this move. Once again, I myself on the indices, not going long. I'm I'm going to go ahead and let them play themselves out. I'll stick with individual stocks. Weekly as well, right up here to this overhead level. Let's see if that'll hold or even continue upwards by the time Friday is over with. But as it is right now, this has moved up, a high base, and now we're starting to move up. But once again, you know how I am about these weeklies. Let's let the candle close before we make a real assessment. This can look completely different by the time Friday turns around. SPX on a 60. This one did more than what the Dow did. Not only broke the blue, didn't come back to retest it. It's still hanging out up top here. My move here, I said, was between 1170 and 1180. We poked our head above 1180, but notice how we didn't hang out there. Right back to close below the 1180 mark. So still, this 1170 to 1180, 1170 to 1185-ish area, all kind of overhead. I'm staying out of it type motion for me. All right, so I'm going to let this thing play itself out. We'll look to individual stocks. From the daily perspective, though, you can see a close now above the 1175-ish area. We got to wait and see if it holds. Just like every time, let's look for confirmation. The bulls, good job. Hey, you got above it. That's one day. Let's see if it holds. Watch for any retests of this and see if it holds. Let's see if we get a sharp move down tomorrow, only to doji out above this line by tomorrow afternoon and the close. See? Things to be watching coming into tomorrow. I, on the other hand, will be sitting on my hands waiting for this thing to find some turn point, and then I'll go ahead and get in on a pullback at some predetermined time. I'll let you know as we get closer to that. But right now, I'm just going to let this thing wear itself out. Whatever. It's moving up. Now it's time for it to just kind of get tired, pull back, and then we'll move from there. You guys can continue to play it, but be very cautious. Take quick profits. Coming right into the 1196 area. That is the weekly 200 on the SPX charts. VIX on a daily, look what we did. We gapped down and came right back up quickly into this falling wedge, giving us a very good clean look at what could be a fake out breakout down here. And we're going to watch closely now to see if we get any closes outside of this blue. You can see it tried once, and phew, VIX came right back up again. All right, let's see if it'll hold this blue line and ultimately this green line now into the end of the week. From a weekly here, you can also see it's putting in a little bit of a doji. We got the big gap down, and we haven't really done anything since then. Overall, guys, no fear coming into the markets quite yet. From an options standpoint, Apple breaking 300 and finishing where? Just above 300. Had a talk with one of my buddies today and told him on a retest, he said, hey, we're breaking 301. I'm like, yeah, let's wait for a retest and see if 300 holds. Sure enough, it has. So far, so good for Apple. Continuing its push up. Good breaks up and over 295. If you caught any of that, back into 300 was a great place to take some profits. You still have good potential here to maybe make a little bit more on the way up. Now, Apple doesn't report until I think it's the end of October, so we still may see it climb a little bit, but be very cautious here. Anything back below this blue line and or the 20, I'd be watching very closely. And obviously anything below 295, I'd be very cautious then going long on Apple. But as long as it continues to move up, still good. All right, so watch this movement here. This one's I've been making a lot of good money on this one to the upside, but now even I'm starting to get a little bit cautious in my trading here. So I'll have to play this one over the next couple days and just see what happens. I'm only doing it now. Apple's only being played by me on an intraday basis. That's it. So as I see entries, I'm taking them, but only on an intraday basis. Here is the same move, up, straight sideways, high base, and a push upward so far, but this candle has not closed here yet. That's what Apple needs to do, is try to hold this 300 level if at all possible. FAS gave us a break up, but notice what it did. Rolled over, came right back down. Bank's not faring so well from that standpoint. Up 20 cents. Yes, it's up 0.86%, but most of it on a gap, and that was what it did to start the day. Your entry on this one was above 23 or above this 2260 area that we talked about yesterday. If you hung in for a day, good for you, whatever. Not my style. I would have waited. But with the gap up today, no real opportunities here to jump in at a real decent level. Still looking to see if this thing will make it back up into the 24 to even maybe any break now above $24. And let's say above $24.25. Then I would look to maybe play it back into 25. But as of right now, I'm just going to let this thing kind of work its way out as well. FAZ doing the same thing. Gap down, pull right back up. So had a great opportunity to short below 1225, but then with this, the gap down that we saw, hard to play. Now it did come back, kind of fill the gap, and then move back down, but you got to be really quick. You got to be quick to be playing that type of stuff. I would much prefer that it start, the day level and then drive itself down through that stuff than I will these type of plays. If you took it, great. If you didn't, no big deal. You just took the conservative way out, and I'll never slap your hand for that. That's for sure. Money, capital preservation is so important in the markets. So important. So as it is right now, we've made a new low. This could be finishing up some sort of a who knows what kind of wave down if you're an Elliottian. I really don't care. It is what it is. Looking for breaks back below now, about $12 if you want to look to play that short a little bit, but be very cautious. Any breaks back up and above maybe 12.30 or 12.50. Okay, if you want to take a speculative long play in this, from an intraday standpoint, I would not be holding overnight on either FAS or FAZ until we get some more direction here, which would be above 13 for me from a swing trader's perspective. Till we see any of that, I would still be playing these on an intraday basis, being very cautious of the volatility that still is options expiration week. All right, had a lot of people turn out yesterday. Had a lot of people turn out. And what was more amazing to me was that they stuck around. Had a great talk. Thank you all that showed up yesterday. Hope you enjoyed the meeting. We covered a lot of information. We went over some charts. That was a lot of fun going over some charts with you guys. Some of you hung out for over 2.5 hours. I really had a good time. Thank you so much for showing up and hanging out. And so maybe I'm going to do this again in another week or two or something. I might do another webinar. I would invite you guys to show up. It's free. And so it was a good chance to get to meet me. It was a good chance for me to get to know you. And then we went over some charts as well and got to look at a few things. And it was very informational. I really think it worked out really well. So I will do it again probably in a couple of weeks, and I'll let you know when I do that. Otherwise, we will see you again, as always, tomorrow. Bye.